Hello! Hello, it's Mr. Saturday, and here's another Duels of the Planeswalkers 2013 gameplay. Yeah, uh, on today's video I'm using Obedient Dead. That's the name of the deck in the game. It's a mono black control deck, and here's a rundown of how you're supposed to play the deck. Step 1, you play lands. Step 2, you kill a ton of shit, just until their field is completely gone, and they are wallowing in self-pity and top-decking for the next creature. And then step 3, you play a giant bomb like a giant demon guy or nightmare or something big like that, and that's how you win. The deck does not play very fast. Like in the beginning of the game, you're not really worried about dealing damage. You're worried about keeping your opponent's stuff off the board. So you're basically stalling until turn 5 or 6 or so, and that's when you play your big guys, and you just bulldoze over them with about 1 or 2 really good guys. And there's Rise from the Grave. I think you get 2 or 3 of those actually. A very useful card in this deck because with all the creature killing that you're doing, you may actually get something good back from your opponent's graveyard, or you can also likewise get something of yours back. It actually makes a very good pair with the blue mill deck for Two-Headed Giant, because your teammate can mill them, get some really good guys off nice and early, and then you can just destroy them with a turn 5 reanimation of one of their biggest guys. And yeah, I'm playing the green deck, so there's many good targets for reanimation when playing this deck. And as you can see here, I've got 2 Spectres, so he's going to be discarding some stuff from his hand, and you can tell by his abnormally large deck size that he has a lot of stuff unlocked, lots of good stuff. So yeah, that's good for me, so hopefully I can get something good from him. Normally I'd be killing all his stuff, but he hasn't really played anything yet, because the green deck, it's a little bit slow to start off, and the green deck is kind of similar to the black deck. You wouldn't think it, but they both involve, playing a bunch of really big guys to just overwhelm the opponent with that power. The only main difference is that the black deck has a lot of removal, and the green deck just has more creatures, basically. So they kind of, they end up being a pretty good match for each other. It makes for a very good game. So, right here I have Icy Manipulator. It's a great card to have, especially in this game, because I can now lock down 1 creature every turn, just basically stop it from attacking forever. And that's really cool because I don't have to waste my kill spells on it, as long as I basically tap 1 mana every turn for it, which isn't really anything if you think about it. So that 4/5 I can just keep locked down for the rest of the game if that's what I feel like doing. And I'm honestly not sure what I want to do. I don't quite remember what happens in this game. I know it's a good game because I titled it Good Game with Mono Black. So yeah, something good must happen. Whatever that is, I'm not quite sure yet, but we'll find out. And as you can see here, I'm holding on to the Icy Manipulator because I don't know if I need to tap that down or if I need to do something else. As you can see here, you played something weaker, a 3/2, versus a 4/5, so I'm going to kill the 4/5 and tap the 3/2, because I'm only worried about killing his weakest guy. I want to keep his strongest guys in his graveyard so I can reanimate them if I ever need to. So that takes care of that. Only problem being I have 4 land right now, and I'm just waiting to draw my 5th now. Even so, I can play pretty much everything else in my hand. I have 2 instant speed kill spells, I have 2 sorceries that kill things. Infest isn't the most useful against the green deck because the creatures are so big, but luckily for me, he has a 3/2 and a 2/2, so I can actually 2-for-1 him next turn, which is really useful to do. And yeah, it's just, smooth sailing pretty much. I mean, he hasn't gotten through for damage, and I don't believe he ever does actually, because I'm just wiping his board every turn and he can't really do anything to stop me. So there we go, there's another 2 gone, and I don't even know how many I've killed so far, probably like 4 or 5, and I made him discard 1, so there you go. And he can't attack this turn. I know nothing has haste that I'm worried about, so I'm just going to tap down his land, maybe stall him for a turn if he was playing a a big guy. I just have to make him wait that extra turn now because I'm evil like that. So this turn, I drew a medallion, which is really cool to have because all my stuff gets reduced by 1. That means I can play multiple cards in one turn without worrying about, leaving mana open. So that makes me very happy. A Jet Medallion is a great card for this deck, especially with all the big guys you have, because you'll always be short of land. You'll find that you'll have a big guy in your hand you're waiting to play, and then you won't draw lands for 5 turns. So it's always good to keep those in your deck. And yeah, see, I'm just killing off his guys, and I'm playing my Spectre. He has 2 cards in hand. Now it's 1. So he's pretty much out of options, and I can now keep up with any creature he plays. I can just kill it very, very fast. So he plays a Spider, and I have 2 removal spells. He has 1 card in hand. So, I mean, he has to keep drawing creatures just to stay afloat at this point, So, I'm not going to let him do that, of course, but here we go. I'm just going to, finish off his Spider with my Tendrils, gain a little bit of life just because, and, going in there, bam, taking 2, if you don't draw one of your big guys, it's still possible to win, with these little guys here, like my Spectre, because it's a, it's a 2-power flying creature. You can get some decent amount of damage with that, against most decks anyway. The Crosswinds deck, you might have a bit of trouble just because there's so many flyers anyway. But against, like, especially against decks like this, without, many flyers, it's a, much more useful card than the initial effect of it, which is already, pretty much worth using. So, yeah, and there you go. I just drew my Mutilate. That's a great, board wiping spell. It can most often just sweep the entire board. It's pretty much a Black Wrath of God in a way. So that can take care of any issues I might come up with. It's not as useful right now because he's pretty much out of creatures anyway. But against decks like the Goblin deck and the, let me think, Peacekeepers, the White Weenie with all the, creature tokens everywhere, Mutilate really comes in handy. That and Infest, that'll save your ass a lot against those 2 decks. The reason I like this deck, it's one of my favorites actually. I believe I now have everything unlocked for it. And there's one of the bombs I was talking about, by the way, Avatar of Woe. That's a great finisher. It can just destroy everything all the time. So that's cool. Shit, what was I saying? But yeah, this is my favorite deck just because it's effective against so many other decks. Because, I mean, there really isn't a hard counter for this. I mean, you can say goblins or whatever just because it's, really fast, but it can like, the best way of beating the black deck is just outrunning the counters, playing more creatures than the black deck can kill, and, just getting through for a little bit of damage every turn, because if it goes too long against the black deck, then you get to draw your corrupts and your tendrils, and you gain life back, and then, it becomes a losing battle, the black deck will gain more life than you can deal to it. So, yeah, you have to kill the black deck in, 5 or 6 turns, or else things start to get ugly. Because then you'll be up against, the huge demon guy and all the life gain spells, like I was saying. And you'll have a very hard time winning after about turn 7 or 8. So, if you ever find someone using the deck I'm using, then, make sure to play it fast and just be aggressive. And I believe that's game, actually. I reanimated his firstborn, so then I pumped up my flyer, and I kept his 3/2 guy tapped down, and he's just gonna keep hitting the timer button for a little bit. There we go. And yeah, that's pretty much game. It didn't normally show like the big finisher like I was talking about, but it did show the copious amount of removal that basically, it paves the way. It just removes everything in your path so that you can just keep getting through for damage and eventually winning the game. So I hope you enjoyed. If you want to see more videos, let me know. If you want to see different videos, let me know. Either way, leave a comment. Let me know how I can make these videos better or what I can change, etc., etc., etc. So I'm going to keep this thing under 10 minutes, and yeah.